People said that even so, they still did it. I guess I just had negative thoughts. When I listen to my broadcast, or when I listen to other people's broadcasts, it's not that I want to cry like that, but when I keep listening, I end up crying.
And then, yes,
I was just doing that by myself. So at first, I was a crazy woman.
that's how much they looked at me with those eyes. Now, I'm living a different life, but I was trying to live a normal life as Hanmari. But when I looked around, I saw all these crazy women, and I thought I couldn't live like that. So I had those thoughts.
But when I saw Obaiga come out and tell her story, I wondered how she could have endured 6 hours, 8 hours of questioning, and if I had been in her place, I don't think I could have handled it. I don't think I would have been able to bear that pain.
That's right, that's something I just can't imagine.
Seriously, that's just... Even if you really want to live, how could you stay in the water for 6 or 8 hours in the middle of the river? When I went to Yeonpyeong Island this time and looked around, I realized that even if you cross the northern limit line by accident, it's so close that you could easily go over without even noticing. But on the other hand, it's also a place where the residents are very alert, and it's not easy for something like this to happen.
Of course. Even in North Korea, many people collect seafood from the sea, making it possible for them to cross over, though it varies by area. Compared to South Korea, places like Hwanghae-namdo Baechon, Ongjin Island, and so on are very close. So in our South Korea, you can't go out to sea even a few thousand meters, maybe 5,000 meters, or 5 kilometers. Because you can't go out that far, you can't fish there.
You can't fish there? Not in South Korea, not there.
I know that it's something you can't do in South Korea either. Because the north is such a sensitive area. If you go straight up that way, you could end up crossing into North Korea. But
now there are a lot of checkpoints and guards there.
Seo Haebada is covered in barbed wire that was once rusty but is still present throughout the area.
It's there. Are you?
But there's no way to go there naturally.
Right now, my parents are living over there in that area, so if there's a gathering or something, I have to go.
I'm thinking about that project, but I don't have any money. Of course, there's a way, Musun.
A way?
No, I can't solve this here. I really can't solve this. There is actually a way for people who have learned Korean as a foreign language to come here right away after making a decision without having to go through the visa process. It's different from us, who have to go through 3 countries to get here. That's right, it's not possible anymore. To be honest, I didn't apply for asylum immediately after arriving. I stayed quietly and worked hard, but seeing many others doing the same, I eventually applied for asylum as well. You can travel from Samgak to Jincheon, Korea in just 30 minutes if you choose.
Right now, I just went there and even thought about living there, but honestly, there are a lot of boats going back and forth. I was thinking about buying that.
Going up the North Han River, anchoring and fishing.
I was going to do that, but
it didn't work out. In Seo Haebada, there are 4 main islands and several smaller ones, some belonging to a single county, while others are shared between 2. However, each island has its own local government office.
Being hit by a slashing machine gun is fatal.
It's not just painful.
Hey, Lee.
Hey, Sana. It's not Apple. If you get hit, you get hit. It's not about the caliber. Whether it's 0.3 of an inch or 0.214 inches, it's not about Apple. It's about whether your skull can withstand it or not. No.
While listening to someone else's lecture, if that's true, it's a relief.
So I...
gun.
That's right, me too.
I couldn't do it right, so I was gonna hide it, but then I thought I might die, so I got scared. Is that it? Oh, Weeboo can control the gun. I can too.
I carried a gun until recently.
I was a man who carried a gun. No.
This is how people are fooled. In reality, during the Pyongyang era, and especially the special police period, except for JY, weapons couldn't be used. This was true throughout North Korea's history. The security guards of the People's Security Unit all carry guns 100% of the time.
Even in ordinary times, they carry them.
That's right, yes, they carry them even in ordinary times.
No!
They're carrying it, yes, they're carrying it.
If you carry it, you get caught, yes. If you don't, yes. Where else would you go except the Republic of Korea?
Of course. It's not that Bo-hyun is carrying a gun illegally, it's just that he happens to have one. From there, people who were active in the anti-communist movement like Kim Il-sung, Kim Jong-il, and Dong Sang-hyun had to be mentioned carefully, if at all.
I'm hearing it for the first time.
It's 100% Soja.
That means the ordinary people living under the protection of the total security guards are just going about their daily lives.
That's right.
They just focus on surviving.
So those people just focus on surviving. And if you tell them to save money, they don't, because saving money feels like something that's out of reach for them. Just looking at it makes me sick.
Actually, I went abroad, and before I left, I practiced in a simulation room for about 6 months. When I got there, I felt like I was at a buffet, and I had to figure out how to actually serve customers in real life. At that time, someone else wanted to take my section, so they tried to swap with me. Sometimes, the kitchen would assign me to a different section. And I didn't know what I was supposed to do or how to handle it, so I couldn't do it well. That's how I ended up doing the serving in a rather nervous way. After a while, I went back to that restaurant, and there was a restaurant run by Mr. Soo-young. When you go in, you have to bring the ingredients to Mr. Soo-young, and you put them on the box. At that time, Mr. Shin Bun-seok asked me to build a shelf there, so Mr. Shin Bun-seok and his wife built the shelf themselves and told me to use it like this. So I was really curious about who this person actually was. So when I looked, it was Mr. Shin Bun-seok from the security department. When I saw it, I realized that even the security department manager was involved.
Security department identification, people who are interested. If you go to the government office, you'll see that there's an identification for the security department.
I handed over the item nervously, already knowing what it was at that time. Please explain exactly what the item was. If you open the first page, you'll see 2 blank lines, and this means that it's currently in use.
If I explain it exactly, that's the temporary membership card for probationary party members. That's right. I was assigned to the security department and received 2 investigator IDs due to my roles in both security and the National Assembly. There are 2 types of badges for the National Security Agency's Special Investigator.
There are 2 red lines on it. That's...
If you get caught, you can't even talk your way out of it, but you can avoid the punishment if you know the secret. That's what it means in the Air Traffic Control Act, and it means you can stop a running car.
It's day back.
And all the tolls are free.
There are free passes, and...
That person, he mentioned Shin Bun-seok.
The person is Dang.
Jong-chi, you must ensure administrative neutrality.
Originally?
Yes, originally that's the case.
There
were a lot of people who kept illegal awards, and kept them, and it wasn't even that long ago. So if you look at it again, in May 2015 and 2016 Special Amnesty Awards came out.
This is really...
Bury it in the ground. Don't tell anyone. And when I came to Korea in September 2016, the National Intelligence Service official who wanted to know the information from me, the person who wanted to know the information last, the information...
How long has it been?
I got the money, but I was really nervous.
September 2016 and May 2016.
Jinjayo, the basic living allowance came out in May, and the special allowance was given at that time.
Heokjayo, the 6th round.
Party Congress? No, it was the 7th Party Congress, not the 6th.
I witnessed a new atmosphere at that time.
In our country, the new identification cards were only seen by high-ranking officials before, making them special. Many people were unaware of these new IDs. Those were for traffic police, security agents, and similar people.
That's right, those...
If you look, it's just a case, nothing inside, just a case.
Originally.
On Sundays in North Korea, motorcycles are banned from operating. But on Sundays, there are exceptions, so sometimes you can see motorcycles on the streets. That's a special exception.
But...
Now, the special long-term driver's license, the one that came out in 2016, is different. Since it's been upgraded, it's not exactly the same as the old long-term driver's license.
The special benefit is what matters.
No, it's not a regular emergency investigator's badge. It's a special emergency investigator's badge. So you couldn't use the regular one, then where does that person go? There are people who can go and stay, but it's all restricted. Well, I also had an emergency investigator's badge, but even so, the National Security Agency had a different kind of emergency investigator's badge. In short, emergency investigator badges are limited, and while several people can obtain them, certain special badges are restricted to a select few.
The more you know, the scarier the world becomes. Well, anyway, Dan Kakal.
Dankal?
Ah, that's what it was. Our North Korean is really full of unique things, you know.
North Korea's special laborers are distinct and exceptional.
자연.
Bowibu does it, but Bowibu is kind of like a secret organization. What? People in front are shouting, and it's the same in our country. Those who run the government are in front, shouting and controlling things.
No, it's from behind.
The supporters stand in front, and politicians pretend to be for the people, making loud noises as if they're protecting or opening up for the people. But from behind, they make sure prosecutors, security agencies, and intelligence agencies can't function properly, so they can't do their jobs. That's why they encourage you, saying, you shouldn't do it like this, or else you'll end up getting burned. That's why.
In North Korea, the State Security Department has become extremely notorious in the minds of the people.
And then,
behind the scenes, the police can't even keep track of the really bad people anymore.
There's a real reality. Still, Soo-hyun was friendly and nice. When I first came to Korea back then,
even now, I still often think, what if I had made a different choice back then? Would my life be different now? I have those kinds of thoughts a lot.
Soo-hyun went abroad before deciding to return to Korea.
That's right.
Even just looking at Soo-hyun, you can tell she has a spontaneous style. She's very free and has a lively personality. For me, the time I spent thinking about coming to Korea was quite long. In North Korea,
I made a plan, at least for a short period of time.
I made a plan, but it feels like I came here without thinking.
Jin is really thoughtless, you know. That person is really thoughtless.
I saw our family and all, but really.
He doesn't think about anything and just reacts to everything like that, without any thought.
He really doesn't think and just does things as they are. Yes.
I just liked that it was South Korea, that it was a good country, and that people lived well. Did you know? Did you learn a lot through drama? No.
Drama?
Yes. So, it's not just that Nam Jo-sun is surrounded by people who are always helping him, but there are actually a lot of people who are truly on his side. Watching that drama, I felt like I was being taught a lesson.
I learned everything just by watching television images.
I knew everything. I knew it all. And then, when I met the people from Korea and Cambodia, seeing them made me realize it even more.
Kyungi, confirming.
That became the turning point. Here.
If a real war breaks out, just like in North Korea, the North Korean people who have endured hardships under oppression will come out to defend their country. In Seoul, they are now learning how to shoot and preparing, and these people are gathering.
I want to try it just once. How are you supposed to make a choice in a world like this, where things are like this? So if you make a choice, that's good, but if you don't, that's also fine, so...
I'm listening to you.
Yes, that's my gun. I can shoot.
Due to those emotions and feelings...
Once I get attached, I get attached.
But I have something very similar. I
usually make a choice right away.
Because the important thing is... we promised to take on the strengths of the North again. So we died. So we could protect this country no matter what.
I did it to survive. I think that's the right thing to do. If you believe in the comments below and come, you'll believe it again if it's a rumor, but...
That's just what people who say that want to believe, so don't worry about it. And... if you make a promise and then break it, you'll be the first one to disappear, so don't do things like that.
Gather.
Sometimes there are such things in the comments, but ignore them. But this is something that I also talked about with a lot of other people. And as we talked, we realized that if this comes up in the future, it's actually something that we should be the first to stop. The speaker agrees with someone else's perspective, stating that if they heard something similar from North Korea, they would likely be among the first to go there. That's what people say in the comments. However, the person writing such comments could be a North Korea sympathizer, explaining their statements seriously.
That's right, that's right. So, after 4 years, when you become a corporal, you might have had a clean record for the first year, but after 2 years, you start to have some questionable records. Just a little bit. Because during that difficult time, the people who helped me the most were all Koreans.
People, hey, that little bit of being misunderstood, just a little bit.
Lukewarm. Yeah, people who are lukewarm like this, and then after 3 years, they become your supporters. Because you have to share your story with these people. Over there, if I go out to the front, they say I'm a traitor.
진짜?
Because you really can't do it.
After those 4 years, I'll come back completely, just like before.
It's family, family. After 4 years, this person will leave completely. That's why Guhan leaves after 3 years. That's the reason. If you don't experience this so-called freedom at least once, it's hard to keep going in the world. I used to think that way too, that I would die if I broke the rules, but no.
If even I can change despite my stubbornness, imagine the difficulty for others.
To be honest,
I didn't really think I was strong. I just thought it was a big deal.
That's right. It really was a big deal. The aftermath is still going on, and honestly, the reason I found this freedom now is because I had to go through all that. I'm sure I'll be able to keep going. So, if I want to be honest, I can't listen to everyone, and if I don't listen to myself, I'll end up listening to the microphone and singing whatever comes out.
That's what I said.
So, during those 4 years, when you first asked me that question in the first year, Oba, I answered you back then, and now you're asking me again. Did I say I would come back if I ever met you again before I left? After 4 years, Oba, we acted like strangers and walked past each other. That's what occurred.
It was a man.
No, it was a South Korean.
It was a South Korean.
If you speak in the past tense, is it you or me?
So I asked.
John Seok.
He was born and raised in North Korea and is now in South Korea, and this person is called...
At that time, since I was a North Korean, I just kept saying I would stay, and when they asked me, I said I would stay for a year, but honestly, I didn't really mean it.
But then, in my 4th year...
I remained silent and feigned ignorance. That's how it was. So that's when I changed a lot and started having these kinds of thoughts.
Because people can change.
I think it's true that people change. I only heard the word danka from older people. Danka is really good. Danka is the best. Danka is the best. Lee-Cherun?
장보이지도.
I can't see it.
I've done a lot of broadcasts, but I can't see 장보이지도 on the screen.
Let me search for Youngum. Today,
Soo-hyun and I were both cheerful and attentive.
it's my first time washing someone else's feet, and
Now, when I go home, I think I'll just fall asleep.
it was also my first time washing without a man.
So don't go home and just say you'll sleep and then end up scrolling through your phone. Please don't do that.
I won't do that anymore. Jung-hee Shinryang, when you go to the briefing the next day, please don't be nervous.
It's like this, yes.
So now the owner comes into the house, sets the table again, and leaves.
There's a side effect.
I have a side effect.
That's right.
He said he did a lot of things he didn't do before.
So I didn't usually do things like that. But at home, I was organizing a lot. But I don't think it was really organizing. I wasn't really organizing. I was just not doing it at all. Wasn't it just that I was moving things around and putting them somewhere else? No, that's not it.
Oh, that's not it. I would just suddenly get up and do something random, like I would suddenly clean or do something weird, and my mom would be surprised.
Jane was like, how did this happen again?
And then I would do things like that while I was sleeping.
And then I would wake up. Hey, then why aren't you worried about Namjoon? And then what?
When I first started my new job, honestly, when I first started working there,
If I drink to a certain extent, I get drunk, maybe after 2 bottles.
yeah, that's right.
2 bottles are just right for me.
So I heard that JK Shinryang went there to get a favor. And originally, Shinryang was supposed to get the grain, but he got greedy and tried to take it all, so JK Shinryang said he wouldn't let him have it.
So that's why mine. Completely unexpected.
It was so unexpected that I couldn't even imagine it. If I had died, I would have seen Soju one last time, and then a sick person would have come and closed my eyes. That's how people are lined up one after another, right next to each other. I didn't realize the gravity of the situation, but after what happened, I resolved to never drink again. That's why I said I wouldn't drink anymore. After eating with them and attending for the first time, I witnessed Shinryang's inaugural sermon. My reaction mirrored theirs during that first sermon. I didn't even know I had that kind of habit. As soon as I entered, I crawled next to the bed, then at the entrance, and finally to the balcony where I lay on the floor. When I lay down and looked, from the entrance all the way to the bed, my clothes were all taken off and scattered. Ah!
Namhyun didn't do that either, and neither did I.
Yes, my husband and I have never done anything like that before. Looking at me, Jinjin.
Baekseonde.
From my perspective, I swear.
I dislike having a guilty conscience, I truly do.
Even from a guilty conscience?
I liked it, and honestly, even if I drank a lot, I was the only one who really, among our friends, really had a strong sense of guilt. Out of everything, I only liked drinking. And when I first came to Korea, the sound of alcohol was so unfamiliar to me. I only knew a few kinds of alcohol, but at first I drank about 30 bottles.
That's how I ended up drinking 30 bottles?
At first, I didn't know how much I could drink.
No, that's not it. At first it was 18 or 17 bottles.
I'm telling you, it's true. If you ask, people will say the same thing.
They said it was water, but it looked like water yet tasted bitter and strong. That's what happened.
I don't know if the National Assembly members saw it, but after I drank it, I wanted to spit it out right away. I tried to act like it was nothing and swallow it, but it was so hard. Back then, this person was a soju drinker. I didn't drink much at all, but I ended up drinking 20 to 30 more shots.
I lost my mind.
I was completely out of it.
Oh my gosh.
Hagan, that...
Northern wind, 25 degrees right.
It went over 30 degrees.
But this part,
He told me to take a test, but he gave me water instead.
Water?
But even then, that person remained asleep.
This is Lee-Cherun.
I drank with 7 or 8 people.
If you drink with 7 or 8 people from now on,
It's a professor's thing. Right now, it's just 2 bottles.
a lot.
When I drank, it was 2 bottles. Now I've completely quit, and that's how it happened.
at first I just held on to that chamisu bottle tightly and drank it. The restaurant and cafeteria have many side dishes.
Nam Joseon, you seemed very anxious after that, when things got even worse. Today, I ate a lot in Incheon and felt really satisfied. And then with a new mindset,
I'm looking forward to it on the broadcast.
and also, who is the person you feel most comfortable talking to like this? As expected, when I listen to Depo Camera, when the high-profile camera comes in, it's different. Today I saw a new appearance. When I look at the statue, I imagine it, but the real thing is even more beautiful than in pictures. Ah, yes, I just cut the cake. I cut the cake somewhere, yes.
I was going to mention something else, but never mind.
Today is my first time coming here like this, eating like this, and talking like this, so I'm a bit nervous too. Well, anyway, thank you.